The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird, something
Yeah.
like that.
Larry Bird did something to NBA legends that LeBron James has never pulled off, and the way they talk about it still sounds wild today. He didn't just make them nervous, he had grown men straight up shaken before tip-off. Magic Johnson even admitted that Bird was the only player who made his hands tremble before games. Michael Jordan said Bird was the one opponent who really got inside his head. Gary Payton called him the most dangerous trash talker walking. And now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar finally confirmed what everyone whispered about but never wanted to say with a microphone in their face.
How good was
Michael
Bird? I don't think people
People
look at him and think,
Yeah,
oh,
they
he's a
say,
white guy, slow guy.
Bird hit a level of greatness that LeBron, with all his success, all his records, all his rings, still hasn't fully matched. And hearing that from Kareem, a man who actually battled Bird and watched LeBron's whole career from the front row, makes the statement hit even harder. It shakes the whole conversation because Kareem isn't some bitter veteran trying to protect the past. He actually respects LeBron heavy. He's praised LeBron's discipline, his leadership, his unreal 2-decade run, all of it. But when Kareem breaks down the difference between Bird and LeBron, he's pointing to something way deeper than stats or jewelry. He's talking about an energy, a presence, a pressure that hit players the second Bird walked on the court. And once you hear the reason Kareem believes Bird had that effect, you start to understand why so many legends still talk about Bird like he wasn't just a player. He was something supernatural moving around in real life. Kareem is talking about the soul of competition, the part of the game most fans never notice, and the way the sport has changed so much that it almost feels like two different worlds. Bird didn't just dominate his era, he haunted it. And according to Kareem, there's a massive difference between being the best player on the floor and being the player everybody fears the most. One level makes you great, but the other level makes you unforgettable forever. Just think about Kareem's angle for a second. This is a man who went toe-to-toe with Wilt Chamberlain back in the 70s, going up against one of the strongest athletes the league has ever seen. Then he survived the Bird and Magic wars throughout the 80s, a stretch people still call the real golden age of basketball. After that, he shifted into coaching and breaking down film while watching LeBron's entire career unfold from 2003 all the way to today. Nobody alive has a cleaner, longer, more complete look at how the game evolved across 5 straight decades. So when someone with a resume like that says Bird had something LeBron hasn't fully captured, you don't roll your eyes, you stop and listen. Because Kareem saw Bird's mental warfare with his own eyes. He remembers how the whole energy inside a building changed the moment Bird walked in. He remembers opponents planning their entire defense around Bird like they were preparing for a full squad, not just one forward. And here's where it gets crazy. Kareem once described Bird's style in a way that still sends a shock through people every time they hear it. He said Bird played chess while everyone else was playing checkers. And he wasn't trying to sound poetic, he meant it literally. Bird could read defenses before they even formed. He could see plays developing 3 passes ahead. Defenders would think they finally boxed him in, then he'd hit a shot from some angle that didn't even look real or drop a pass that shouldn't exist in this universe. Bird's basketball IQ wasn't just high, it felt supernatural. And the wildest part? He'd tell you exactly what he was about to do, then go do it with a grin like it was the easiest thing on earth. That kind of mind control never shows up in the box score, but every player from that era repeats the same message Bird got inside your head and locked the door behind him. Now compare that to LeBron's approach. LeBron dominates through discipline and total control. He studies opponents like he's preparing for an exam, memorizes their tendencies, understands their weaknesses better than they do. By the time game day arrives, LeBron already has the whole chessboard mapped out in his mind. It's insanely effective, and it's a huge reason he stayed elite for so long. LeBron has been elite for almost 2 decades, but here's the difference Kareem keeps pointing at, and it hits hard. LeBron makes you respect his game, but Bird made you fear stepping on the floor with him. Those are 2 completely different psychological battles. When Bird played, opponents felt real tension inside their chest. They knew he wasn't coming for just the win. He was coming for their pride, their confidence, their whole sense of control. When LeBron plays, opponents feel pressure. They feel forced to be perfect, but they don't feel that same punch of fear. Both styles win games, but only one creates legends that make retired players shake their head years later like they still can't believe what they lived through. And this is where Kareem's whole argument gets its real power, because the environment Bird thrived in was a completely different jungle. The 1980s were flat out brutal. This was an NBA where hand checking was legal, where defenders could grab you, shove you, and nobody was blowing the whistle. The bad boy Pistons didn't just defend you. They tried to break your confidence by hitting you hard enough to make you hesitate the next time you touched the ball. The Sixers, the Lakers, every top team used physicality as a weapon because that was the game back then. Every single possession was a fight built on toughness and pain. There was no modern spacing, no wide-open three-point era, no soft lanes waiting for easy drives. Teams packed the paint, bodies collided nonstop, and if you wanted a clean shot, you had to battle through elbows, forearms, and a crowd of angry defenders. And Bird didn't just survive in that chaos, he thrived in it. Detroit knocked him down, Philly cracked him with elbows, and Bird still showed up the next night dropping 30 with that smooth jumper like nothing bothered him. Kareem remembers those wars because he lived through them, and he saw Bird's body take the kind of punishment that would send players straight to long-term recovery today. Back problems, nerve issues, constant pain, Bird dealt with all of it while still averaging nearly 38 minutes per game for a full decade without complaining. No load management, no skipping back-to-backs, just pure stubborn grit, refusing to let his body give up before his mind finished the job. And the numbers prove it wasn't some myth created after the fact. From 1984 to 1986, Bird averaged 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting almost 50% from the field and 40% from deep. 3 straight MVPs, 3 championships in 5 years, all earned while battling rosters stacked with Hall of Fame talent like Magic and Kareem's Lakers, Dr. J's Sixers, and Isaiah Thomas's Pistons. That's not just dominance, that's dominance in the hardest environment basketball has ever seen. Now flip to LeBron's world, because the contrast is huge. By the time LeBron entered the league in 2003, basketball was already shifting toward a global, polished, cleaner style. The league was becoming more corporate and more protective, especially towards star players, and the rules were built to help scoring explode. Hand checking got banned in 2004. The same year, defensive 3 seconds started getting enforced heavily. Suddenly, guards had freedom, wings had space, and stars had room to operate without getting manhandled every possession. The whole sport was pushed into a more open, offense-friendly era designed to highlight talent instead of raw, physical punishment. Once the rules changed, the whole league opened up. Driving lanes became wide enough for stars to glide through untouched, and refs started calling fouls on anything that looked even slightly rough. The structure of basketball shifted overnight into a system that rewarded speed, finesse, and athletic power instead of physical intimidation. Kareem doesn't blame LeBron for this. It's just how the sport evolved. But he does point out how perfectly LeBron's whole skill set fit the new age of basketball. LeBron's mix of size, speed, and strength became flat out unstoppable in a league where defenders weren't allowed to slow him down with real contact anymore. And this is where Kareem's point gets extra interesting. LeBron's insane longevity, the fact he's playing elite basketball into his 40s, isn't just because he's built different. It's also because modern stars have an entire support system behind them that old legends never had access to. Today's players have advanced nutrition, detailed recovery plans, tech for sleep tracking, injury prevention tools, and whole teams dedicated to keeping them fresh. Every organization now has huge medical staffs, charter flights with lie-flat seats, and schedules designed to protect star bodies. Meanwhile, Bird was battling through an era where teams flew commercial, practiced right after brutal games, and sports science meant putting your knees in an ice bucket while hoping for the best. LeBron deserves respect for taking care of his body, but it's still a level of privilege Bird never got even close to. So when people start pointing to LeBron's 21 seasons as proof he's tougher than Bird's 13, Kareem shuts that down fast. He asks real questions like, what would Bird's career look like with modern medicine? What if he had today's treatments, surgeries, and recovery tech? Or what if he wasn't playing 82 games a year in a league where defenders were allowed to hit you hard enough to make you rethink your entire strategy? Bird's body tapped out at 35, not because he lacked toughness, but because the game demanded a level of physical sacrifice that sounds unbelievable today. LeBron is still going strong at 40 because the league protects stars in ways Bird could never imagine. Both careers deserve respect, but the context matters in a huge way. One career was earned by surviving a nonstop war, and the other was achieved by running a long marathon with the best support system money and science can offer. And now we get to the numbers, because even though Kareem insists stats never tell the full story, they still reveal plenty. Larry Bird only played 13 total seasons, but in that short window, he averaged 24.3 points, 10 rebounds, and 6.3 assists per game. His shooting percentages were elite for any era, nearly 50% from the field, almost 38% from deep, and close to 89% at the line. He was one of the first players ever to even approach the famous 50, 40, 90 level, a standard of shooting accuracy most players never come near even today. Kareem remembers how opponents dreaded seeing Bird on the schedule because they knew what was coming the second he touched the ball.
The chubby white guy, he wore us out, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears,
Yeah.
that was his best, because he made the three-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players I had the opportunity to play.
Opponents didn't fear Bird just because he scored. They feared him because he controlled the entire rhythm of the game like a mastermind. Every rebound turned into a laser outlet pass that launched a fast break. Every possession had a plan, sharp timing, and zero wasted movement. He made the whole court feel like his personal chessboard. LeBron's resume stretches across 2 full decades, and it's undeniable. Across 21 seasons, he's averaged around 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 50% from the field. 4 MVPs, 4 championships, and the all-time scoring record that once belonged to Kareem himself. Those numbers are wild, and Kareem respects them deeply because he knows how much discipline it takes to stay great that long. But when Kareem studies the details, he also notices how the modern pace of the game boosts counting stats in ways people forget about. Today's teams play faster, taking around 100 possessions per game compared to around 95 in Bird's prime. More possessions mean more chances to score, assist, and rebound, a simple numbers advantage that shifts how stat sheets look today. Kareem says that what really separates Bird is efficiency when the pressure hit its highest point. In elimination games, when everything hung by a thread, Bird's numbers actually climbed to 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. He delivered his best work when there was absolutely no room for mistakes, and that impressed every legend who played with or against him. In Game 7s, Bird shot over 50% from the field and almost never turned the ball over. Kareem loves that part because it shows Bird's greatness came from timing and control, not chasing big numbers. Bird didn't need the ball in his hands all night. He just needed it when the game was hanging tight, and that's when he took over with cold precision. LeBron has had legendary playoff runs too, no question. His 2012, 2016, and 2020 championships proved how dominant he can be under pressure. But there were also stretches where his efficiency dipped when defenses crowded the paint and forced him into tougher jumpers. And Kareem pays attention to those details because they shape how eras should be compared fairly. Then the durability conversation comes in, and this is where things get complicated fast. Bird's career wrapped up at 35 because the wear on his back became too heavy to continue, something Kareem always reminds people of so they don't twist the narrative. LeBron is still hooping at 40, still performing at an all-star level, and on the surface it looks like simple toughness or stronger commitment, but Kareem doesn't reduce it like that. He points to how the entire league structure changed. Modern players fly private with luxury setups that let them recover properly. Medical staffs monitor every detail before small issues turn into career-ending damage. Even the schedule, while still tough, has more built-in rest than anything Bird ever saw. Bird's 13 seasons came in a league that demanded heavier contact and allowed way less recovery time, something that shaped every part of how long his body could hold on. LeBron's 21 years shine because the league finally treated player preservation like a priority, with science backing every step of his journey. Kareem says the real question was never about who lasted longer, it was about who did more with what they had. And by that formula, Bird's shorter window of pure dominance still hits incredibly hard today. This is where Kareem's perspective gets real deep. He has always believed greatness isn't measured by applause or headlines, but by respect, the kind that comes from legends behind closed doors when nobody needs to impress anyone. And when you listen to how the all-timers talk about Larry Bird, their whole tone changes instantly. They don't call him the flashiest or the most athletic. They call him the one player who could break you mentally before you even laced up your shoes. Magic Johnson, his biggest rival, admitted Bird was the only opponent who made him genuinely nervous even at his own peak. Gary Payton called Bird the coldest trash talker he had ever heard, and Michael Jordan later admitted Bird was the one guy who truly scared him on the court. That's not nostalgia, that's earned respect built on psychological control that never faded. LeBron's reputation among stars is different. They respect his preparation, his discipline, his basketball IQ, and his ability to carry entire teams on his shoulders. But it's not the same fear Bird inspired, and Kareem believes that comes down to how each man built his edge. Bird used psychological warfare like a tool. He wanted to embarrass you and smile while doing it. He would call his shot, tell you exactly how it was going to happen, then pull it off right in your face while laughing. That wasn't arrogance, it was strategic destruction of your confidence, planned to make you crumble before the fourth quarter even arrived. LeBron, on the other hand, runs on precision and control. He studies every detail until the whole game slows down to match his rhythm. Both styles work brilliantly, but one creates awe while the other creates admiration. And Kareem says that difference is huge. Kareem also noticed another pattern over the years. Bird's rivals wanted to beat him. They wanted to stand up to his mind games and prove they were strong enough to survive them. It felt personal every time they faced him. LeBron's rivals, especially in the modern era, often wanted to join him instead. You see superstar after superstar trying to team up with LeBron instead of challenging him straight up, and that shift exposes how competition itself changed. In Bird's era, personal pride came first. You proved yourself by beating the best, not by teaming with them the moment the chance arrived. In LeBron's era, winning became the only metric anyone cared about, even if it meant forming super squads to make it happen. Kareem doesn't say one approach is better than the other. He just sees that they represent completely different philosophies of competition. And then there's the emotional bond between a player and their city, something Kareem says people underestimate. Bird wasn't just a Celtic, he was Boston to the core. He embodied that city's tough blue-collar attitude in a way that made fans feel like he was one of them, fighting for them every single night. It wasn't just Bird's skills that made Boston fall in love with him, it was his stubbornness, his belief that toughness and hard work beat glamour every single time. Boston fans didn't just cheer for Bird, they felt like he was one of them, built from the same grit they carried in their daily lives. He never left, never chased a bigger stage, never needed to change his image to fit trends. His greatness felt complete from day one because it came straight from identity and loyalty. LeBron's journey has taken a totally different path, moving from Cleveland to Miami to Los Angeles as he reshaped himself in different cities with different teammates and different expectations. Kareem actually relates to both sides since he left Milwaukee for Los Angeles, so he understands movement and reinvention. But he's always struck by the fact that Bird never needed to look for the right fit because he was the right fit from the second he stepped into Boston's locker room. That leads into what might be Kareem's deepest point in this whole conversation. Basketball, to him, has never been only about skill or highlights. It's always been a reflection of a player's character. And when he compares Larry Bird and LeBron James, he sees two completely different versions of what greatness can look like. Bird was purity on the court, no drama, no excuses, no theatrics, no camera-friendly storylines. He played for one thing, the win, and everything else felt like background noise. LeBron represents the modern superstar, a global figure, a polished brand, a leader in the public eye, and a symbol of professionalism in today's world. Kareem respects all of that, but he also feels that somewhere along the timeline, the raw core of competition shifted. Today's stars can choose teammates, adjust minutes, manage public narratives in real time, and shape how people see their careers as they unfold. Bird never had that kind of control. His story was written in bruises, in sweat, and in the physical reality of the era, not in controlled announcements or curated moments. That's why when Kareem speaks on this debate, his words hit with a calm authority that people can't ignore. He's not trying to tear down LeBron's legacy. He's simply reminding people that greatness has layers. One version born from struggle and one born from opportunity. Bird's greatness came from discomfort, from pushing through injuries that would sideline entire rosters today. His back gave him constant trouble, nerve pain shooting through his legs, and he still gave Boston 37 minutes a night until his body literally couldn't move the same anymore. LeBron's greatness is built on maintenance, on using every resource possible to keep his body sharp for more than 20 years. One man forced time to bend through sheer will. The other refused to let time win by using science and discipline in ways no past generation had access to. Kareem says both achievements are remarkable, but the emotional weight of Bird's era, with all the sacrifice and raw pride, still hits him the hardest. In Kareem's mind, true legends share one quality above every other trait. They make the game bend to their will. Bird did that through anticipation and intelligence, seeing every play before it unfolded and punishing every defensive mistake with ruthless accuracy. LeBron does it through power and adaptability, overpowering whoever stands in front of him or shifting his style to match any situation the moment it changes. The real separation between them lies in how they made people feel. When Bird stepped onto the court, opponents felt actual fear. They knew something bad was coming their way, and they couldn't stop it no matter how hard they tried. When LeBron steps on the court, opponents feel a different kind of weight, the pressure to be perfect or get picked apart piece by piece. Bird's greatness felt personal, like he showed up specifically to ruin your night in front of everyone, and players never forgot that feeling. LeBron's greatness feels like you're going up against a perfectly built machine, locked in and calculated every single possession. Both players dominate the game in their own ways, but only one, in Kareem's eyes, captured the raw heart of competition the way it used to be played. So when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar steps in to settle the Larry Bird versus LeBron James debate, he's not dropping some final judgment written in stone. He's giving perspective only someone who lived through both eras can offer. He's saying greatness isn't about who lasted longer, who stacked more points, or who sold the most jerseys. It's about who changed the culture of the sport the second they touched the court. Larry Bird did that without any modern comfort, without the advanced tools today's stars rely on, and without the safety nets that protect players now. He did it through mind games, clutch moments, and refusing to let anyone, including his own hurting body, shape the final chapter of his story. By doing that, he reminded the basketball world what the game originally stood for: pure competition, ice-cold execution, and respect that stayed lodged in your mind long after the arena lights went dark. And in Kareem's eyes, that will always be the highest definition of greatness, no matter what the record books try to show. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.